did was good. I think we're in a good spot to kind of keep going forward with this.
Did you sense guys kind of building off each other? Just everybody who's going out there putting up zeros and kind of feeding off that a little bit.
Definitely, there's always some of that the confidence and momentum that kind of is felt, passed along. Yeah, I mean, we knew that they had a team that was contact oriented, and with that, you know, you got to trust yourself and you have to trust your defense. And I think seeing the defense make a lot of plays early kind of boosted just everybody's confidence, and we knew we can trust those guys behind us, especially in those atmospheres where even if one base runner gets on, the crowd gets loud. That we can continue to trust our stuff and trust the defense. And I think in those big moments, we were able to do that. And, we weren't trying to be too fine. It didn't have a lot of walks. And, I think that was really kind of the key to our success. And it's good to see just everybody kind of pass that mentality and pass that confidence along.
Next.
All right, we'll go to Brian Hoke next. Brian, go ahead.
Hey, Clay. As Mike mentioned, the game's underway right now, Game 5. Are you guys getting together to watch it? Like, what's the situation there? How are you guys getting together?
Yeah, it's it's on TV, but we're at a workout right now. Guys are there's maybe some live BPs and some bullpens. Everybody getting their throwing in. So yeah, it's on in the background. We're definitely kind of seeing what we got here, who we're playing. At the same time, trying to get some work in while we're here.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go to Chris Kirschner next. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Clay. How were you able to maintain your confidence after the Yankees stripped you of the closer title?
Yeah, I mean, just for me, I don't know, my confidence, kind of my identity, who I am and what I can do. It's not really so much, tied into some title that's given to me. Obviously it's an honor, it's a great thing, but for me, just kind of knowing who I am, knowing what I'm capable of, and the pitcher I can be, and the person I am. Those things really weren't stripped away when some title kind of went away. And I think for me, it's just I knew the things I needed to do and to be successful, to help this team, be the most successful that we can. And for me, it's just refocusing on those things, kind of getting back to, being my best. And, that more times than not, when I'm at my best, my sinker is really good. And I think I made it a point to figure that out and really, started throwing more. I knew that I had to get back to that. And I think, it's been there and it's starting to have some success with it again.
I was going to ask you as a follow-up. In August, you were throwing your slider more often than your sinker. Was there something you changed with either the grip or just the confidence you had in the sinker to really make that your focus again?
Yeah, I think the sliders, I mean, they grade out well. Good pitches, obviously, and I think there's always that balance of like, where's the league adjusting versus like, how do I adjust back? With that, is it throwing more sliders or is it simply maybe I'm not at my best, my sinker's just a touch off, and that's the reason why, that's the adjustment I need to make. So you're always kind of riding that balance of, kind of how do you zig and zag. And yeah, my slider usage went up. It was a good pitch. It's a really good pitches. I know I'm going to have to use them in big spots. I had that confidence, but that, with that being said, I've had a lot of success with my sinker when it's at its best. And I think for me, it was just kind of refocusing. All right, what does this look like? What does it feel like? Let me kind of, really dig into the sinker. I think I did. I found probably just getting a little too much supinated. My grip was probably just cutting it a little too much. And I was just, some slight adjustments of getting behind the ball a little more, not coming, so over top of it and staying. It almost feels like I'm staying under it and behind it more. Just some small fills and some things that kind of kept me on line. And I think just, trusting those and the sinker started to come back. And I think that, like I said, ultimately when I'm at my best, the sinker's at its best, and, I can trust that.
Thanks, Clay.
Yep.
Go to Brendan up next. Brendan, go ahead.
Clay, thank you for taking the time. We've asked you a lot about what is different about you and what you've done differently. What was the work like to get to here? Did you like strip everything away and go back down to ground zero? Or are you someone, even when things are going well, that you're pouring into data, pouring into where your hand is on the slider? Like just how different was this time for you from a work standpoint?
Uh, I mean, to be honest, I mean, not very different. I've had some success this year, and sure some things have probably not gone my way. There's been some moments that um, I can learn from that haven't been at my best necessarily, but at the same time, there's kind of always been the confidence, like I'm really not throwing terribly, and I'm not far off, and I've having some really good outings, and um, so for me, uh, I mean, I'm always kind of paying attention to my outings. I'm always looking at kind of numbers and seeing where things are, monitoring things. And so, um, you know, that process really didn't really change much. It was just more so kind of where do I want to kind of realign and where do I, think I need to keep continuing on. But just like the work, it didn't feel much different. Like I said, I never really felt like things were, I was just in a place where I had to just start building something again. I felt pretty good. I think it's just continuing to build on, kind of where I was at and really just kind of keeping, the directional line of kind of things I need to focus on.
And Clay, how would you describe the camaraderie in this bullpen? Just what's it like being out there? Sixth inning, what's it like being out there?
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, sixth inning. I mean it's fun. I mean we have obviously some personalities down there. Tommy, uh, Weave. I mean even the guys like Hammy that can seem quiet. I mean, um, he's comfortable down there, and you kind of just get to see everybody's true self. And I think that's kind of what makes it so special. Is I think everybody feels comfortable with who they are, what they bring to the table, and they feel like they matter and belong. So it's fun. I mean, it's a group that um, there's just a lot of stuff going on, and it's I think that's what keeps people on their toes. I feel like a lot of people you think, sitting down in the bullpen, we're just locked in on every single pitch. There's times you are, but a lot of times it's it's there's a lot of fun going on, and I think you as a bullpen pitcher, when you need to lock in versus, start from pitch one. But yeah, it's a good group, a lot of good guys. I don't think anybody down there doubts that, the rest of the pack, has their back, and I think it's part of the reason of the success so far.
Thank you.
We'll go to Randy up next, Clay.
Hey, Clay. When Boone made the change, he talked about there being a lot of noise. The fans were getting on you, a lot of questions in the media. Did that ever phase you at all that there was criticism coming from outside? Because you had talked about how inside you were still getting so much positivity from your teammates, and I'm guessing that that helped you through this time where the outside that there was a lot of criticism.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean the guys in the clubhouse. I mean, you play here long enough, there's gonna be ups and downs. Along with that, there's definitely noise that comes along with it. Which ultimately, you get caught up in that. Ultimately it's kind of a distraction to kind of where, you need to be. And I think the leaders we have in this clubhouse, they know that, they've been through it, they understand it. And I mean, just the way they handle, when guys, maybe scuffle a little bit, or they know kind of where people are at, they know how to pick them up. And I think that's, kind of what I felt. Like, sure, there's been, a couple saves that I blew. People know things are hard. There's noise. As players, I mean, we feel it no matter what, if you hear it or you don't hear anything. So I think just getting that proper, just connection and kind of feedback from the players is kind of what really helps people through these times and stay resilient, ultimately. So yeah, I mean, for me, having guys in the clubhouse that, you can trust and lean on and provide good feedback, coaches that can give you direction when you need it. It's kind of what helps you through those times. And I think that's definitely where it come from for me.
Was there a rock bottom moment for you? And was there a moment also where you're like, okay, I'm back?
Um, Not really. I mean, things you just. I mean, sure, there's peaks and valleys for sure, but I think for me, it's like I'm just so outing to outing. It just feels very. Uh, it's not like each one's you know on its own, but you're just so focused on the next one that it's like I need to learn from this and go on. And so when things aren't quite right, you need to be better. There's a lot of times where you feel that way and you pitch well. So for me, it's just hey. I know I have an opportunity right here in front of me. This next one, and let's focus on that. What can I do a little bit better? What did I do well last time? And really just taking it outing by outing. I mean, for me, I have to simplify things. The more things I'm worried about or thinking about or trying to focus on, ultimately just become distractions for me.
Thanks, Clay. Good luck next round.
All right, we'll take a couple more for Clay. Dan.
Hey Clay, what have you thought of what Austin has done behind the plate in his first playoffs? Rookie catcher, a lot of tight games. You guys obviously use a lot of different pitchers. How important has he been to what you guys have done as a pitching staff?
Yeah, I mean, he's been incredible back there. I think just the feedback he gives, you can tell he's very in tune of what's going on, like in between innings. You got questions or things you're seeing that you ask him about, he's seeing. And it's like you can just tell he's very engaged, he's very aware, and he kind of knows what he's looking for. And I think there's a lot of trust in him. I don't think anybody's ever doubted that, but just kind of seeing how he's navigated these games so far. I mean, he's been big, especially for first time in the playoffs. In those environments, it's not an easy thing. There's a lot of stuff to juggle. I mean, there's pitching staffs. Kansas City's veteran lineup. So man, he was incredible. There's a lot of trust back there, and um, he makes it look a little easier than what it really is.
Thanks.
Yep.
Clay, thanks for taking the time. We appreciate it, and best of luck in the series.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Hey, John, the Moneyball movie where they say first base is incredibly hard, and now that you've done it in the leagues, would you agree with that? Is it incredibly hard?
It's a lot more difficult than I think people realize. I told Riz that the other day. There's just a lot to it, a lot of different positioning, a lot of different things around the bag that you have to be aware of and involved in at all times. So, yeah, I think it's definitely a lot harder than people think.
What's been the most difficult part for you?
You're just learning every little piece of it. Runners on base, how to hold the runners on, different positioning, different footwork around the bag, understanding, ground ball situation. You got to get to the bag unless you're involved, obviously. Balls hit to your right, you have to understand where your second baseman's at all times, to understand if he's going to be able to get to that ball or not. So it's just a lot of little things.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Randy up next, John.
Hey, John, can you talk a little bit about this crazy season that's been for you? You get traded before opening day. You go from being a starter to a utility guy. You get hurt. You come back. You get hurt. Long time. And now here you are playing a lot of first base. You play damn near everywhere except first base. It's just you had time to think at all about like what a crazy season it is. But here I am starting some of the most important games of the year.
Yeah, I haven't had a whole lot of time to be able to reflect yet. I'll probably do that after the year, but yeah, it's been a wild year from day one, from the trade to the injuries to coming back. But it's been all worth it just to be able to be here and feeling like I'm helping contribute to us in big games.
Thanks.
Go to Greg up next, John.
Hey, John, just as a guy with some Michigan roots. Just I guess how much have you paid attention or heard about what the Tigers have been doing, and just kind of seeing what this run they've been on that potentially get to the CS.
Yeah. Obviously just paying attention as I've paid attention to all the other games, just seeing what's going on, just as a baseball fan in general. But it'll be exciting no matter who we face on Monday, and I'm excited for the opportunity, whether it's Cleveland or Detroit.
Was there one play at first base during that DS that you thought was like the most difficult play, or just any kind of nuances out there that caught you by surprise?
I'll say turning the double play, just making sure we get the first out, obviously, and then it's a tough window trying to throw it over to second to get the double play, but fortunately I was able to get it by the runner, and Volpe made a nice tag on him.
I'll go to Chris up next.
Hey, Jon, you've been around Jazz since he came up in the league. How have you seen this veteran-heavy clubhouse embrace him since the trade deadline?
Oh, it's been great. Kind of as expected when we traded for him, and he brings a lot of energy. He brings a lot to the table, a lot of athleticism, some power too, obviously, and speed. So it's been great, and it's been awesome to see him work as hard as he has at third base. Just because obviously that was a position he had never played before. So to see him flourish over there has been awesome, and everyone in the clubhouse has welcomed him with open arms, and he's one of us.
Thank you.
Gary, do you have a question?
Hey, Jon. The other day, Oswaldo said he's been using DJ's mitt at first base. Just curious, you have your own first baseman's mitt, or are you using somebody else's as well?
So I do have my own, but I haven't been using it. It kind of got lost in the travel, I think, when I got traded from Miami here. Might be at my house in Michigan, but I have been using one of our coach's gloves, Brett Weber's gloves. So it was the first one I tried out and used and really liked it. So just been using it since.
Aaron, do you have your game one starter set?
No, we're gonna let today unfold and then talk about it, and probably make a decision tonight or in the morning.
Is it kind of opponent based, or how do you go about deciding that?
I mean, that could factor in a little bit, but again, we'll kind of talk through that. But we have not made a decision yet.
Is Heel an option there? Or...
No. Luis will go. Later in the series, we're gonna have him throw. We'll have him throw in a sim game tomorrow.
Thanks.
Other questions for Aaron? We'll go to Randy Miller.
And I'm guessing you will probably add one pitcher for the next round. Is that correct? Is Stroman in line for that possibly? And what's Rizzo's status at this point? Does he have a shot to play?
We'll add at least one pitcher. Probably end up deciding between 12 or 13 pitchers. Again, those are things we'll talk through probably tomorrow before our workout at length. And then Rizzo, I don't know his status yet. That'll probably be, a little closer to Monday where we make that decision. So he's in today. We'll see what he's able to do today and tomorrow, and make a decision there.
Has there definitely been progress since the start of the playoffs from Rizzo? And also, can you give an update on DJ?
There has been progress. He hasn't done a lot physically, like baseball wise, to kind of letting that thing heal up as much as possible and doing a lot of treatments. DJ's doing pretty well. Feel like he's moving around well. He's been hitting now for a good bit and feeling good there. So, we'll see.
Thank you.
We'll go to Dan Martin next, Aaron.
Hey, Aaron, with Rodon, regardless of when he pitches, do you think that the experience of that game the other night will benefit him, from going from being so high at the beginning, then to kind of, falling apart there in the fourth? Is there some kind of growth that maybe he can rein it in a little bit in the first inning?
I think so. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think hopefully, you benefit from all these experiences you have, and Carlos, for obviously as experienced as he is, hasn't had a ton in the postseason. Was really, really encouraged by how he came out throwing the ball, attacking the strike zone. But I'm sure there's a lot of takeaways for him, and hopefully things that he can apply moving forward.
Other questions for Aaron? We'll go to Greg Joyce.
Aaron, just what stands out to you about the two teams, that the Guardians and Tigers, from when you played them this season, and also just what you've seen from them kind of watching the playoffs the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Cleveland all years, kind of been that front runner in the Central, and put together a real consistent, solid year. They do it a lot of different ways. Obviously, a tremendous bullpen, athletic. They defend really well. They're pretty balanced in their attack. Obviously they got a couple guys that can really hurt you in the middle of the order, and a superstar player in Ramirez. As far as Detroit goes, obviously they've, probably have the likely Cy Young Award winner this year anchoring their staff. And then, they've been that team that has been as hot as anyone for, really going on 2 months now, where, they got everyone on the roster playing a role. Line changes offensively, substitutions, obviously a handful of games where they're bullpenning. So, they present a lot of challenges in that way.
We'll go to Jack Curry up next, Aaron.
Aaron, I know you not ready to commit to who might start the opener, but Garrett is in line rotation-wise for game 2. How likely is it that we will see him start game 2?
Yeah, I would expect that. Yes.
And then secondly, understanding this is probably a better question for Judge or even for Rowson, it looked like in game 4, Aaron is usually so still at the plate, but it looked like there was something in his hands, a little timing mechanism as he was preparing to swing. How aware are you of any slight adjustments that he might have made at the plate?
Yeah, usually I notice those little things, so I didn't notice anything of that, and I'm not sure of that. I thought he had really good at bats in game 4, got off some really good swings. I thought his patience showed up. So yeah, I thought he looked pretty good in game 4 from just an at bat quality. As for little tinkerings, Judgy always tinkers a little bit. As do a lot of hitters. So there's always little adjustments you're making throughout the course of a season, or in this case, a series.
And I know you don't know your opponent yet, but how probable is it that Verdugo continues to start in left field?
Yeah, I would say that's likely.
And then first base has been the one revolving door. I guess that will be contingent on who you're seeing.
Yeah, that'll be fluid, and we'll see if Riz is in play or not. So certainly liked what I saw from Cabby and Berti in that first series, really playing a nice role for us.
Thank you.
We'll go back to Randy.
Aaron, I'm wondering if the two possible teams you could play, if you've been impressed by their managers. You look, AJ won in Houston and what he's done with that team. I'm thinking that experience has helped them. And then you look in Cleveland, Francona is going to be a Hall of Famer, and Steven comes in and they get a lot better. Have you been impressed by those two guys, one who has a lot of experience, one who has no experience, and how they've taken teams to a higher level?
No question. I think AJ, with what he did with that team in the back half of the year, kind of doing it a different, creative way, probably out of necessity, but also just getting the buy-in, from, it seems like they're players that are, all in and ready for all situations. That's a credit to AJ and what he's done over there. No question about it. And then as far as Steven, he's come in and, I know, coming in for the first time, fresh off the playing field, just seems like he's got a really good heartbeat. And, I think he's done a great job where, they've had, not doing it the way Detroit's doing it necessarily, but done it a lot with a bullpen centric kind of theme, and also playing a lot of platoon advantages and in different situations. I think he's done a really nice job with that.
Thank you.
Go to Gary Phillips.
Hey, Aaron, thanks for taking the time again today. Clay was on here talking before. Just he's had a really nice run of success. Hasn't allowed a run since that last blown save. What have you seen from him? What's impressed you the most, I guess, about his bounce back and his confidence throughout this stretch?
I mean, what I continue to say, even when he went through some tough stretches there or whatever, is we're looking at a really, really good pitcher, and that's showing up right now. And I think his mental toughness, his ability to deal with the outside noise and like just kind of keep moving forward. I've talked about it all year with him, even when he went through some stretches where we lost some games. Like he handles it as well as you can handle it. And we knew even going through some of those situations that in a lot of cases he's still throwing the ball really well. And so I'm not surprised that he's kind of found his way through this, and obviously been a huge weapon for us, certainly in that first round. But it's a testament to who he is as a person, and also just how good of a pitcher he is.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Is there anything else for Aaron? All right. Well, looks like it's going to be a great game in Cleveland. Aaron, thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right.